In the video last week, we learned that if you resist your emotions, they actually grow stronger. Today, I'm going to deep dive further into resistance and the hidden impact resistance has in your life. Being aware of resistance, working out whether a particular resistance is useful, and if it's not, then moving into a state of allowing is going to bring you more energy and happiness and ease in your life. My name is Dadley-Moore. I'm a conflict and communication coach and a family mediator, and thank you for joining me today. Okay, so I want to share an exercise with you, and I really wish I could have you sitting right here with me, right here, so you could experience this firsthand. But that technology hasn't been invented yet, so I'm really grateful to have my daughter Karina here with me today to be in your place. So this exercise, are you okay if we touch hands?
Yes.
Yep. So put your hands up and against mine, okay? So we'll do a warm-up first. So the first part of the warm-up is when I say go, you push against me. And firm, not really strong, but firm. And I say go and you push, and you keep pushing till I say stop. You good with that? Okay, let's go. Okay, stop. Okay, so that's the warm-up. We'll get on to the real thing now. So same rules apply. We'll put our hands together. When I say go, you'll go and you'll keep pushing till I say stop. You ready? Okay, go. You stopped.
You stopped pushing.
What? Yes, I did. Yep. And so I stopped pushing. You stopped pushing.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is the case. It takes two people to create resistance. It takes two people. When one person's pushing, that other person can't keep pushing indefinitely. Now, when we were doing our warm-up, you put your hands up again. We could have pushed for as long as you and I kept pushing. We could stay here. We might need someone to come and feed us some food, but we could stay here a long time. Yep. But when one person stops pushing, that other person eventually is going to run out of fuel. Awesome. Okay, thank you for being here, Karina. Years ago, I was working with a young guy. He was around about the age of 12, 13, and he was pushing against the world. Now, I had a counselling session with him in his home. We were in the lounge room together. His mum was in the next room with the door closed. She was in the kitchen. And I did this exercise with him. Now, he was a smart kid. He knew everything there was to know about life. And he was the only person I've ever done this exercise with who actually followed the instructions. And when I gave him no resistance, he kept pushing. He literally pushed me and the chair I was sitting on over backwards. And I think I rolled sideways a little bit to protect my head as I hit the floor, but I stayed in position, no resistance. I so wanted this learning for him. So I kept at the exercise. Now I'm on the floor. I'm sort of floppy with my arms like this, and I'm deliberately not looking at him because I figured that if I looked into his eyes, he would be getting some form of feedback from me. Absolutely no resistance. Now, he was straddled on top of me. He was actually straddled on top of me, pushing it into my hands, and he wasn't stopping. I hadn't said stop, so he wasn't stopping. Now, I prayed that his mum wouldn't come in and find us, but I continued on. I rested my head on the side, and it took maybe 15, 20, 30 seconds. He had me pinned on the floor, and then it started. Simon, can I stop now? Simon, can I stop? This is getting weird. Can I stop? I'm just unresponsive. Not looking, not talking, nothing in return. Simon, just tell me to stop and I'll stop. Simon, talk to me, Simon. This is weird. Talk to me. It was incredible. I knew lying there underneath him, I had to keep this up. This is going to be a powerful lesson to him. I continued, no resistance. And I reckon maybe at least a minute, maybe even 2 minutes went by. It was an extremely long time. Simon, can I stop now? Just tell me to stop and I'll stop. Look, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. Whether you tell me or not now, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. Come on. Just tell me. Stop. Just tell me. I'll stop. And then he did. I gave him no resistance. There was nothing to push against, no fuel to feed his fire. He was unable, as much as he tried, to keep going. The fuel ran out and he stopped. So how is this relevant in your life? Well, there are only two states in life, resisting and allowing. And at all times, you're in one or the other. And there's going to be a percentage of your day that you're in the state of resistance. And when you resist, you create an opposing resistance. You enable and you support an opposing energy to push back against you. Resistance creates resistance. What we resist persists. Resistance also brings with it a rigidity, a tightening, a hardness and restriction in our body and in our mind. It feels negative, and it therefore creates difficulty, it creates friction, both externally in our world out here and internally. Now, on the other hand, allowing is frictionless, really. Allowing is when you're open, you're not controlling, you're not forcing things to be the way that you want them to be or wishing they were different. It's accepting and just letting life be as it is. Now this, if you can get into the state of allowing, this then brings a softness, a peace, a contentment. You're now in the flow and you're not pushing against life and life's not pushing back at you. And this feels good both internally and externally. Think of a time when you were holding on to something and then you let it go. Or maybe a time when there was a big event coming up in your life that you felt some fear around, therefore some resistance. And then think of how you felt when you did finally let go, or when that event was over, when the resistance was gone. Was there relief involved? I'm sure there was, because moving from a state of resistance to allowing often brings relief. It brings a feeling of lightness, sometimes even a feeling of awakening. Life feels better. Yes, finally, done it. And that sensation is entirely up to us. It's entirely up to you. Whether you resist or allow is your choice. Now, Eckhart Tolle says the intensity of pain depends on the degree of the resistance to the present moment. And most of our resistance is hurting us, not helping us. It's creating pain and suffering, not protecting us from it. So what are you resisting? Where's the resistance in your life? For some people like me, this actually starts first thing in the morning before I've even opened my eyes. I'm resisting. I'm resisting opening my eyes and waking up. Again, Eckhart Tolle, the intensity of the pain I feel in the morning depends on the degree of resistance I have in that moment. Okay, maybe it's exercise, maybe it's drinking enough water, that's another one of mine. What are you resisting? And is it really necessary? Is that resistance really helping you get closer to what you want in life? What price are you paying for this, the ongoing resistance? And what would life look like? What would you gain if you chose the state of allowing instead? What about your relationship? What are you resisting in your relationship? Have a good look at this. Dig deep. Have a look right under the surface. What you're likely to find is area of resistance that one that you're aware of, because a lot of them are a blind spot, and two, where there's just no real need for it. Worse than that, it's unhelpful and creating harm in your relationship. Often it's just there out of habit. It's a default setting that you've learned to live with. It might go way back to your childhood, a survival strategy that you no longer need as an adult. It might be a resistance that was needed to protect you in an old relationship, but it's no longer necessary in your current relationship. And it's also likely getting in the way of the closeness and connection. Now, again, if you have a long-term relationship with an ex-partner because you've got children together, what are you resisting there? And again, what are you missing out on? What limitations are you choosing because you're choosing to be in a state of resistance instead of freeing yourself to be in a state of allowing? But Simon, what does allowing even look like? Well, obviously this depends on the situation. Simon, how do I do allowing here? How does allowing work in this situation? Well, finding the answer might not be easy, but please don't let this stop you from looking and searching in order to free yourself and create more ease in your life. And then how do you do it? Well, transitioning from a resistance to allowing, it involves letting go. We're back to letting go again. Letting go of judgments, letting go of expectations, entitlements, assumptions. Sometimes just the awareness of the resistance is enough for it to soften and to enable the transition into allowing. If you haven't seen the videos from the last 2 weeks on difficult emotions, watch these as well. These will really help you with tools to let go of any attachment you have to resistance. If you haven't already, Download the mini course on cognitive distortions, the mind monkeys that trick us and trap us into believing things about ourselves, our relationships, and the world around us that just aren't true. Now, it's free. The course is a video of about 20 minutes in length and a PDF sheet to download. These monkeys love resistance, they do. Watching it will help you really turn the light on and look in the corners for any unnecessary and unhelpful resistance. Now, as always, please share this video to someone that you love. Even if you share this video with one person, you might be helping them in ways that you could never imagine. And if you got this far, please press the like button. This helps the channel get seen by YouTube. Ask any questions, share any comments, and more than anything, have a great week and be kind to yourself out there.